Hello and welcome to another BiblioCraft Mod Update Spotlight. I'm Nuchaz, the developer of BiblioCraft and your host. Alright, first up I want to talk about the framed chest. This is a new block I've added that's quite similar to the vanilla chest, but it's got a few additional features. You'll see it's the same size as the vanilla chest. And we can place them next to each other and they don't automatically connect like a vanilla one. However, if you use the hand drill or a screw gun, you can sneak right click on one, then right click on another, and it'll connect the chests. Now since they're frame chests, that means we can use them with the furniture paneler. So we can use any kind of solid color block to get any color looking chest we'd like. So we'll just make a few here to get us started. So as you can see, you can place those down and they don't automatically connect to each other. However, you can still connect those even though they're different types of materials. Alright, you'll notice little indentions in front of the chest. Those are built-in item labels. Now if you place something in the chest will automatically detect the item with the highest quantity and it'll show that item in the item label. Now if you have a double chest, the top 3 rows will determine what's in the left label and the bottom 3 rows will determine what's in the right label. As we can see here. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the frame chest. You can also disconnect them with your hand drill or your screw gun just as you connected them and change them around however you want and they'll retain their contents just fine. And that's pretty much it. Alright, next I want to talk about the fancy workbench. I've added an additional feature that I think is quite nice. If you place a bookcase to the right or left hand side of the fancy workbench, the workbench will now detect the bookcase and display the inventory when you open the workbench. As you can see, if you place one on both the left and right, it'll display both inventories, or one on the left, it'll display on the left. I think this will be quite nice for organizing all those recipe books. Now speaking of recipe books, I've also added an additional feature to those as well. If you open up a recipe book, you'll notice there's now a craft button. If you have the materials, appropriate materials in your inventory at the time, it will craft that item. So we click craft, we can see I'm missing an ingredient. I don't have any of these labels in my inventory, so we need some of those. So we can open up a crafting book with a label in it, for example, and craft a couple labels. You can see it gives us a message that says crafted successfully. Craft a couple of those, and now we're missing ingredients. We see it gives us a message to indicate that as well. So now you can use your recipe books to craft things without a crafting table. Alright, there's one more big feature I'd like to talk about, and that's the Stockroom Catalog. This is a new book I've added that allows you to list all the contents of any inventories you select with it. So you can see we start with an empty book. Now if we want to add a chest to that, let's say this chest right here. We hold down sneak and right click that chest with the Stockroom Catalog. And you'll notice it's got little particles coming off from it. That just kind of indicates that this chest is now being tracked by the Stockroom Catalog. Now if you take the catalog out of your hand, you'll no longer see the particles. So the particles only show up if the catalog you're holding is tracking that inventory. So now when we right click and we open up, we can see it's got 64 oak planks in that. So maybe we'll throw in a couple other things. And we open the catalog back up and you'll see all that stuff now shows up in the catalog. So this catalog gets a fresh list every time you open it basically. So a few other things we can do, we can click on the title up here and we can rename it anything we want. So anything you want. Now when we close it, you can see it's called anything you want. And a few other things we can do, we can sort the list by count. You click this little button right here, it'll count up or down, descending or ascending. And the same thing with the name. We can organize it by alphabetical order, up or down, whichever way you like. Another thing, you can always disconnect the book from an inventory too by holding down sneak and right clicking that inventory again and it'll no longer be selected. And you can also select multiple inventories or really as many inventories as you want. There is no hard limit to it. And I got another Stockroom Catalog here, which I've already connected to a whole bunch of chests here that I filled up with a whole bunch of different kinds of things. You notice I got some different mod chests here, including barrels and thermal expansion barrels and deep storage units and drawers and a Thaumcraft hungry chest and a whole bunch of frame chests up here. Kind of demonstrate this. And as you can see, it makes a nice big organized list and it'll make pages. There's no hard limit to the number of pages. So if you make a list that's too big and something crazy happens, please let me know and I'll figure out what's going on, or if I have to put in a limit I will, but as for now there's no limit. You can of course organize the list however you'd like. And you'll notice there's a bunch of little chests here on the right hand side. If you click one of these, it'll open up another list of all the inventories where you can find that item. You see it gives the name of the item here, and then all the inventories you can find it. And then this is the quantity of that item in that inventory. So you can see we got 1,728 cobblestone in a chest over here, and then we got another 1,728 in a chest right beside it apparently. So you notice we also got compasses up here. If you have compasses in your waypoint compasses in your inventory, Stockroom Catalog will detect up to 8 compasses and it will place them in these slots up here. And you can click on them and select different compasses. Now you notice this list also gives you the coordinates for each of these chests. And it's got little plus signs over here. So if you want to add a waypoint to a waypoint compass using these coordinates, all you do is select the compass that you'd like to add the waypoint to, then click this little plus sign beside the inventory of your choice, and it'll add that to your waypoint compass. So that's just kind of a nice way to help you find your stuff. Alright, and that's pretty much it for this update. Head on over to www.bibliocraftmod.com to grab the newest version and enjoy.